Hey everybody, it's Jenny McGarvey and I am back with you today to share how I'm going to plan next week in my classic vertical happy planner. Here's a look at last week where I used the Trendsetter accessory book and it is fabulous. I absolutely love it. She's definitely my favorite of the girls. Now next week you can see I've pre-planned sticky notes, the whole thing, and I'm going to do something different. I am going to be using these supplies from My Mind's Eye. These are some cardstock stickers with these beautiful florals. Sorry guys, couldn't help myself. They were too pretty. I also purchased these die cuts. It was a package of die cuts. And if you can see on the back, they're just all gorgeous. Now, I'm not 100% sure I'm going to use all of these things, but I figured I would have them both to work with. I'll also use my colorful boxes, of course, because who could not? And then I'm also going to be using these Mambi sticks, these alphabet stickers, and also one last thing at the end that I will share with you, but I'm not going to pull that out just yet. Now I am going to go ahead and pull my sheets out, and I will also start with those alphabet stickers. So I'm going to, I haven't done it in a while, but you know I love my big alphas if you've been around here a while. I've been doing this for years where I use those big alphas to spell out stuff. Now, sorry for the loud package noise. I don't love including that, but you saw I hadn't even used them yet, so gotta break it out. Okay, so I'm going to spell out spring over here and break over here. So I'm going to go ahead and move this sticky note up. And then I will go ahead and I'm going to do break first because I have more room on this side. I mean, I don't really, it's really the same amount of room, but you know what I mean, because with those boxes, having 4 boxes instead of the little note section, it just feels like a little bit more room. Now I start with the B, and then the next one that I'm going to use is actually the K, because I want to make sure that I can get everything to fit. So this way, I'm not going to lose the K and I'm not going to lose the B. So then we will add the other 3 in here and it will go swimmingly. Well, okay, that's a little confident. Maybe I shouldn't be quite so confident, but I'm going to make it work is what I'm getting at. Now the E is where I'm going to go next, and I'm going to eyeball it and say that this is the center. Doesn't really matter if it is because it's close enough. And then I can add, like, this is so cute, just the slight overlap. It just adds a little fun layer to it. But if you're more of a perfectionist and you like things to be laid out completely, then you should absolutely do that. And so then I'm going to put these guys right there. So see, that's super fun, but I do have one complaint. So I'm going to go ahead and move this B, if I'm able to. I'm just going to move it over a tad because I think it'll look better if it's overlapping just a hair. There. So simple, and yet it looks fantastic. Now, like I said, this is something I've been doing just forever. It's really a favorite technique of mine, and so I was excited to be able to do this again. It's been a while since I've had the ability. Now I'm going to take this G all the way to the end, right by the discs, and then I'm going to pull out the S, and I can see already that excuse me, the spring obviously has 1 extra letter, so there's going to be more overlap than there was for break, obviously. And so I'm going to pull the S a little bit off the page. I can trim that part off with my scissors, and then I'm not going to do the center letter this time because it's not an odd number, so I don't have 1 letter that is just the center. So I'm going to just hope for the best and overlap ever so slightly. Well, first I'm going to move that guy because, well, it's just a little bit annoying, am I right? All right. I think we're going to have plenty of room. I don't think it'll be a problem. Now the thing is that the end is quite wide, so I'm hoping, so you can see right here, I do need to do a little bit of the overlap because it's just such a wide letter, but I think it's going to be fine. Okay, now I do have a plan, okay, so go with me here. I'm going to put these away and move them over. I know that I have a game on Monday. I know I have a practice. No, I don't have a practice on Tuesday. I have a game on Monday and a practice on Monday. I have a game on Wednesday and a practice on Wednesday. I have a game on Thursday, and then I will probably have some sort of game on Friday. So because of that, I'm going to use Tuesday. I'm not going to go crazy. Okay. Just going to use Tuesday to put my embellishment over on this side of the page. So I'm going to look at my beautiful florals. Seriously, these are gorgeous. And I'm going to choose one, this one, that is substantial. So I'm not choosing the tiny ones. It's substantial, but it's not the biggest one, okay? Because I want it to fit in this Tuesday. I don't want to say spot because I'm cool with it overlapping, but I want it to fit in this general box, right? Like, so most of it, for example. So I'm just going to move this guy up here because I don't want to forget it, because again, this is not a normal week. It's spring break. The games are different. Everything is different. So I don't want to get confused. So that's why I'm not going too crazy with that. Okay, so we've got my beautiful floral right there. And I know I will also add more beautiful florals over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this big, huge, enormous cluster, and I'm going to put it, they're so realistic too. I'm going to show you in just a second what I'm talking about, but even the detail, like on this little bud, I don't know if the camera is picking that up. It doesn't look like it is, but there's so much detail even on that bud right there. It's kind of crazy. All right, so let's see. All right, we're gonna put this guy right here. We're gonna let him overlap a little bit, and then he'll hang off the page, and I'll trim this guy over here in just a minute. And then this is where I'm gonna pull out these die cuts, remember? And a lot of times people think, oh, why would I want those? Well, because in this case, for example, there are some included that are not on that sticker sheet. So if you want to, you know, have some additional pieces, here you go. So for example, there's this cute little pull. I'm not going to use this one, but it's really cute. Now what I am going to use is, there's some frames in here, and frames are actually, if you want to know the truth, frames are my favorite. So I always am looking for frames because they're wonderful for layering. Now, as you can see, a couple of little guys fell out. I used these beautiful peonies, so I'm going to kind of stick with that, I think. I don't want something too huge, like, so here's the die cut version of this sticker. I want something a little bit, oof, this is beauty. So maybe I'll incorporate a couple. Well, I put these guys back. I'm going to leave that teeny tiny little bee out. Normally I think he's a little creepy because, well, bees are a little creepy. But I know they're good for the earth, so don't. I know it already. Okay. But they're still creepy. Okay. Now I know that I'm going to put this guy down here. We're going to put him right here. And then I think we're going to layer that back behind. I don't know if that's pretty or not. I can't decide, actually, if you want to know the truth. I'm kind of thinking that maybe I need to just stick with a bigger floral and call it a day. I mean, I'm going to keep the frame, but I think I'm going to get rid of these guys. They're very pretty. I just don't think they're what I wanted for right there. Alrighty, so turn it over, get out my adhesive. Now, for point of reference, did you know that? You can just rub adhesive off these tape runners. Yep, it's pretty awesome. I also have an adhesive eraser I can show you too to get little last pieces off that, like, you see, if you can see that tiny little smudge right there. An adhesive eraser, and it'll erase that little smudge and you'll be all set. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the sticker sheet and I'm going to add this pretty little pink beauty. I don't know if there's any words. Yeah, I mean, there's lovely. I could add lovely right here. That might be cute. If I can figure out where it's at. I'm not going to work too hard to find it because it's not really that important to me, but I see fabulous, but I don't want fabulous. That just feels a little much. All right, well, I can't find it and I don't want to mess with it, so we're not going to do that. But it would be really cute if you had it. Okay, so now we have the overall design. You see that? Do you see? Well, first of all, let's pull this guy up. Oh, I forgot to tell you about my in reference thing too. Once I get this guy up. Okay, let's trim him off. So you see he's hanging off the edge, which is cool. I like it because it takes your eye all the way to the edge of the page. Gives the page some natural movement for your eye. You see that? I love it. That's one of my favorite ways to add some interest to your page. Trim this guy. There we go. All right, so we've got our visual triangle, right? It's nothing too terribly crazy, but I did forget that I had saved the little bee. So we're gonna just add the tiniest bit of, and add the little bee too. Just because it's cute and it adds a little something over here. All right, so we have our triangle for our embellishments, and then now we'll go ahead and plan. And we're keeping in mind that I had already set this up because I knew where my plans were going to be. So I'm going to take colorful boxes. I'm going to go into the gold section so that we match the gold. And I'm going to add, all right. Okie doke. So now I will write in and then this one right here. All right, so remember, I do still have a Tuesday plans, but I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to put it down here with my to-do list. So I will just pull out one of these small ones and add that right here. And then below it, do the rest of my checklist. So now we're going to do the same thing here on Wednesday and add in my colorful boxes. Now I could probably try to match some of the colors. That wouldn't be a problem, like some of the pinks or roses or those types of colors, but I'm just not interested. I'm just going to stick with the gold color palette across the whole week. Now I'm going to go ahead and pull up the edge of this ever so slightly, which is, I was just going to say it wasn't really that big of a deal, but I did separate it a tiny bit. And I'm going to add it right here. And then down below, I'm going to stagger it just ever so slightly. So now we will write in the plans for Wednesday as well. Alrighty, now we can move on to Thursday, and I can add this game. I think it'd be kind of fun to throw in a little floral because I can. I have room for it, so I'm going to just go ahead and do that just for a little decoration. And that's something I can do now too, like over here, because there's room left. It wasn't something I had wanted to do initially because I didn't know how those stickers would fit. But now that I've put them there, I can add some more florals. Makes it a little bit more of a cluster, you know? Alrighty, so we will probably have a baseball game to add on Friday, but I'm not going to put that in yet because I don't know the details or anything like that. So I'm just going to leave it. And then I also need to do two things now. I need to add my to-do lists across the bottom, and I also need to find my little recycling icon sticker. And good luck with me trying to remember which one it is, but let's see here. You know what? I've got an idea. Let's do this instead. As we've talked about significantly in the past, I can use whatever I want in my planner that helps me remember what something is. So for example, I can use this little trash can because I know that means recycling because, well, it's my planner, right? So I will do that. Now I think that I'm also going to, looking through my checklists here to see if there's one that I'd like to use. Otherwise, I have the Happy Planner one pulled out already. I can use that. All right, so I am going to use this Brilliance Gold Ink Pad, okay? It's just beautiful, and I love it. Now, the first thing I'm going to stamp is I'm going to use this Happy Planner. It's, I think, from the To-Do stamp set. Now, I'm going to look and see how many boxes. All right, so I need to leave one off in order to make it work right here. And that's simple enough. So, it comes with a little plastic protector. Not all ink pads do. And I'm going to ink up all of them except for the bottom. And then with firm, even pressure, going to stamp right there. So pretty. This ink is really very gorgeous. If you're looking to add more inks to your collection, I highly recommend this one. It's really very beautiful. So pretty. All right, so then let's add them over here as well. Gorgeous. Just adds a really delicate, pretty touch to this layout, which I hadn't necessarily been looking for. But I will take it. So now I'm just going to use a plain old baby wipe to clean this off. This happens to be Huggies brand. They're the ones that I like the best. They have a decent little texture, and then they don't leave lint on the stamps. They're also really wet. So I like that because that'll usually last me through my entire crafting session, and I don't have to pull out another wipe because it's so wet. So I'm going to just go through here, pull out the trash can, put it on the block just like I did. Okay, so that's a thing that can definitely happen, okay? I didn't actually end up with, I mean, there's a teeny tiny bit of ink right through here, but I'm not gonna worry about it because it's really light, and this gold is so pretty that I don't really actually care. But it's definitely a thing, so you have to be cautious when stamping that you don't drop the ink pad on your project. There we go. So now I will be able to remember that Tuesday is recycling day, and yeah, that's it. So pretty, right? It's definitely different. It's definitely outside the norm, but sometimes it's really fun to bring in some of those other things. Now, the thing that I did not tell you about already was with these die cuts, one of the things that's really great about them is that I think they're like around $5 a package, and you get a huge package full of die cuts. You see all of those different pieces on the back. It's really a very good value in terms of die cuts, and I love them. They're usually thick and substantial and really just feel nice to use in your projects. So that is it for me today. I am all finished with next week, my spring break, and I'm looking forward to it. So thank you so much for stopping by and watching. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, and I'll do my best to get back to you. Thank you so much, and make it a great day.